All right, I think we can start. Hi, everyone. We're happy to be back live on our social media channels with our dear UD family. This is one of our UD interview series where we talk to successful Uzbek professionals working abroad about their career journeys and their life experiences. Very interesting stuff. So stay tuned for the next hour with us, or maybe less. And we start our conversation with our today's guest from the world of IT. Welcome, Nuriddin. So Nuriddin is a product growth specialist at Pro Unlimited at Facebook. He holds bachelor's degree in computer science and software engineering from Inha University in Tashkent. Welcome to the stage. Can you briefly introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Hi, thank you, Hassan again, Uzbek diaspora team, for inviting me. It's my honor. I'm very glad to speak today and talk to Uzbek diaspora. And yes, thank you for introducing me. My name is Nuruddin. I'm a product growth specialist at Pro Unlimited Facebook. Um, I studied at Inha University, and I'm also a lead and ex-lead and founder and organizer of GDG Tashkent, which stands for Google Developers Group. We built a small IT community in Tashkent, and it was one of the fastest growing at that time. And since then, we bit paused for this quarantine, like COVID situation, but we are trying to build IT community online as of right now. And I've been to US for various reasons. First of all, it was my UGRAD scholarship. And then I was at Google conference twice, and also I worked as a product manager at Super Dispatch. That's that's a US-based startup founded by our um, Uzbek friends. I worked. I started there as a software engineer, and then I turned to a product manager. I learned a lot of stuff there, and then I moved to Facebook as a contractor. So I'm working at as a product growth specialist for Central Asia as of today.
Okay, awesome. Great. A lot of stuff we can touch on. We already have so many channels that we can go with.
Sure.
So yeah, let's. Can you tell me about your education, degrees, major, and your transition from college to your career? Your decision-making process, the value determination, your perspectives as a young individual.
Sure. When I was just a schoolboy, I was very interested in IT. We got a PC at home, and we got this slow ADSL internet, which was like connecting using this telephone cable, and was like terrible, like crazy slow speeds. I don't know, like 56 kilobytes probably. And since then, I remember I woke up at like 6 a.m. or like even before, because it was like free overnight internet. And then it used to be a bit faster because no one was using it. So I got my first interest in IT at that time, and we started a project with my friend Jamshid Ahmed Aliyev called English Life. So that was a small website about to learn and improve English. So it started as a website in 2013 when we were Lyceum students, and then it was just a small website built with like website builders,
Yeah.
and then I got a very good interest in IT. So that's why I think I always wanted to learn IT, because it was fun, because you could build a lot of stuff and try it with your hands. It's like a Lego, but in IT world, like you can ship it to anyone. So it's not a physical good, but you can, like, everyone can use your website or anything you build, like, or mobile app in anywhere of the world. So that was a
Mm,
great thing. That's why
right.
I tried to learn IT, and
Mm,
so build things. And that's why I studied at Inha University in Tashkent,
mhm.
and I got a bachelor's degree at in computer science and software engineering.
Okay.
And that's my only degree I currently have. But I also have non-degree studies. As I mentioned, I was a exchange student at University of Mississippi. So I spent a semester there uh, after during my UGRAD semester there. So after I coming back, I went to Korea to study
Oh,
another exchange semester, or we can say even half a year. So it was like 2 semesters at
mhm.
Inha University, like main Inha University, which is located in Incheon city of South Korea.
Oh,
So
Incheon.
that's my educational path.
Uh-huh. Awesome. So you mentioned that you were a student at University of Mississippi. If you could just
Mhm.
elaborate on that, that would be
Mhm.
interesting for us.
Yeah, and if people know, there's a United States educational programs and sponsored by U.S. Department of State,
Yeah.
and they are available through U.S. embassies in all parts of the world, and Uzbekistan is included. So every
Mhm.
year there's a program called Global UGRAD, which stands for Global Undergraduate Exchange Program. And by this program, many people, around like 6 to 15 people, will be selected every year to study
Mhm.
at various US institutions.
Yeah.
So they can be colleges, it can be big universities.
Mhm.
So I applied for a global UGRAD program, and
Okay.
then uh, University of Mississippi selected me as their like UGRAD finalist.
Yeah.
So I went to Ole Miss. That's how they call it. So I went to Ole Miss for a semester. I studied computer science, and I really liked the classes there because it was like most of them were up to date. And if you know, some universities here tend to teach some older classes with older
Right.
textbooks, but
Mhm.
in the United States the big difference was they were all up to date. And I enjoyed like practical aspects of the education as well. So it was not only theoretical, but it was joint. So we applied our knowledge in different things as well.
Okay.
And so it was a fun part.
Okay. Wow. Great. And if you could, if you could talk about you got what years were you? What years was it when you were in the States? When you came to study through UGRAD program to Mississippi University or
Mhm.
University of Mississippi?
It was January of 2017.
Okay.
So it was a spring semester
Okay.
2017, and
Yeah.
it was good time. But
Right.
for people, if you don't know what semester to choose, so
Mhm.
you have an option to choose between spring and fall. And if you like American football or other kind of sports, fall is a good semester, but it's colder. So yeah, I spent semester without football, but still it was good times.
You mean you were involved in football or what?
No, no, no. It was,
No.
as far as I know, spring semester is
Not
not a
okay.
football season. Yeah,
Oh,
that's why it was just us.
got it.
Yeah,
Okay. Is UGRAD program still available for students in Uzbekistan or what?
yeah. Actually, it's getting being expanded. So
Okay.
when we applied, I think it was around 6 people
Mhm.
who were selected every year to study at universities. But
Mhm.
as far as I know, this year it's more than 10. So
Mhm.
that's a great thing. And
Mhm.
also now through flex programs, I think through American consuls, flex program is also available, which means now high school people they can also study at US for a year. And so
You called it Flex program, right? Is that
yes, flex program.
FLEX Flex program?
Hmm.
Okay, got it. Uh, okay, and what have you learned during this program when you were at the University of Mississippi? What were
Uh,
some of the interesting stuff? What are some of the things that you learned from it? Or maybe you made some friends,
yeah,
and how
exactly.
were you exposed to the new culture, coming from
Mhm,
Uzbekistan?
mhm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, first of all, as I mentioned, it was applied knowledge, not
Mm.
only theoretical.
Yeah.
So if we talk about education,
Yeah.
and most of them were up to date.
Mm.
So our professors were also they were doing some global stuff, or they had like um, big projects going on. And
Yeah.
when I was a student at Inha University,
Mm.
it was we were the like first year students. Like
Yeah.
we had only around 100 people, and through the years, before I left Inha for US,
Mm.
it was around like 500 people or 300 people.
Wow.
So it was relatively small university at that time, and that's
Mm.
why when I went to University of Mississippi, it felt
Mhm.
like it's a huge place, because like the area was so big,
Mm.
and there were like a lot of fraternity, maternity houses, sorority
Mm.
houses, right? Like not fraternity.
Did you try to
And
become a member at sorority?
no,
Or,
no, no,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no.
I wasn't. But it was almost was big for that kind of things, and like
Right.
half of the area um, was this kind of houses. And
Mm.
also there were a lot of students. I think around 25,000 people were studying there. So
Mm.
it was a truly like mind-blowing experience, because I felt like what's a real university is like,
Mhm.
and that's the best thing. And thanks to UGRAD program, I also made a lot of friends, and I could travel by myself. Like for the first time, I bought tickets online for like airlines. I was traveling through Disney, Universal studios, had fun times. And even though when I was so young, kind of, and so it was kind of truly life-changing experience. I learned that there are a lot of different people, because in Uzbekistan we are, yes, we are multinational, but still people around me were mostly like Uzbek people. So they were mostly like an IT world,
Mm.
and more or less they are similar.
Yeah.
But I met so different people there, and I could accept the changes. So
Mm.
so it's not like my thing is true and yours is false. It's more like I accept mine, you accept yours, and we accept
Mm.
each other. Like everyone can be different, and we can accept each other. That's the
Mm.
kind of big thing that I learned.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
yeah, differences. So it's more about like difference and accepting those differences. That's the
Okay.
one big thing that I learned from traveling to US for your grad program.
Okay. And were you able to find a common ground with them as well? Were you guys like, any of your interests crossed maybe with the
Uh,
foreigners?
Um, yeah, we made some American friends as well, but also
Mm.
for UGRAD program, we met a lot of people from other parts of the world.
Mm.
So it was a fun time. Like we talked to each other, we talked about our culture.
Right.
They talked about their culture, and we were exchanging a lot of stuff. We didn't have serious issues, but still, it was just like, wow, people can be so different.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we are the same. Like we share some common stuff with Latino people, even though like when I
Mm.
was in Florida, I tried to say salam to a lot of Latinos because they look similar, right? And so that's kind of that was interesting, because like we are so different. We are from two different parts of the world, but we look similar, and we have some shared cultures as well. And that's like big thing.
Mhm. Oh, okay. Okay. Awesome. So some of the important things that you learned is being able to find common ground and accepting other cultures and their way of thinkings. That's amazing.
Hmm.
And also, you mentioned that you were in Korea for an education purposes. Uh,
Hmm.
if you could touch on that and bring
Sure.
more details.
Yeah, as I mentioned, we were like first year students at Inha University, and
Mhm.
that's why Inha University they invited us to study 2 semesters and
Right.
there in Korea. And
Yeah.
before I visited there um, for summer school, so it was
Mhm.
kind of known place for me. I knew the place, I knew where to live, so it was kind of I had some idea of Inha University. But we lived with like 100 other Uzbek students,
Mhm.
and whole floor in the dormitory was ours. And so that was kind of cool. Like I never had this kind of uh, atmosphere in my life, and so it's also great when when it's mostly Uzbek people, but still like you learn a lot of stuff. Like um, you share some interesting stuff with your friends, and they invite you to some places. You invite them to other places, and we kind of grow together there. And we got kind of really close friends because we lived in one place, we ate together, we made a lot of stuff together, and
Yeah.
so yeah, it was kind of close circle, and I think it fostered a lot of like great friendship circles there.
Right.
And we can say Uzbek diaspora in Korea is pretty big, especially at Inha University, because they have good kind of support for scholarships and Uzbek people, and that's why a lot of people visit there. And they do a lot of things together. They represent Uzbekistan in culture events, and also they cook plov, for example, together, and they do a lot of stuff. And so that's why finding kind of way in Korea is relatively easier for
Yeah.
someone who just like went for international, like first time.
As an
So
international student. Yeah.
that's a great thing. So
Mm.
there are a lot of people who can support you, and that's kind of sweet part of it.
And how long were you there in Korea?
Uh, for 6 months.
6 months. Okay, 6 months in the States and 6 months in Korea. You're right, right?
Almost 4 months to be specific, first time, but then I visited then for another month in US. So
Right. Yeah. Let me 1 second. Someone is complaining about the voice. It looks like there's an echo. But let me see. Everyone else who are watching us, please let us know if there's an echo in our voice. We'll try to fix it uh, if the issue is with us. Okay, that's awesome. Let's also talk about your program, English Life, the website, the first website you ever built. And did you build it yourself? And how did the process go? How long did it take? And what were your initial purpose? Like, what was your goal of building it? And what was your vision for it? And did you meet your expectations? If you could talk about it.
okay. My friend Jamshid is actually watching us on YouTube. He commented, "Hello, Jamshid." And Jamshid is my friend and the co-founder at English Life.
Yeah.
He wanted to share English materials he found, and like books, audio, and other stuff, which is interesting because like he was learning a lot. So we want to develop this idea, and as an IT guy, I was
Yeah.
learning about making websites. It was basic HTML, CSS, but then I found like uh, engines which build sites. So it's not no code, but
Yeah.
still like it's much easier than building from scratch.
Yeah.
So at that time, we found some templates, we changed it, adapted it to ourselves,
Yeah.
and so we built like the first version of English Life with that kind of engines at that time, and
Right.
then we had a lot of people. We had a small family, and we worked 1 year online, only online, and then we went to Kamalot İçtimai Harekat at the time
Right.
to ask support, and they gave us some place, and there was like a library and facilities to conduct some speaking clubs and other kind of clubs, and so we had this kind of small English Life family there
Yeah.
for about like 3 or 4 more years.
Oh, okay. Awesome. God. Okay. So is the website still active, or is it like available for users, or what?
No, it's not active at that point
Okay.
because like we both have like our professional career goals, and we couldn't continue it. But some people who are active members of English Life, they are time to time conducting some kind of meetups and also their versions of their speaking clubs. So we can say there's small kind of relationship still left since that times, but
Okay.
online presence we don't have it at this point.
Oh, okay. Okay. Awesome. Let's see. We've got some comments from our audience. So Jamshid Ahmadaliyev, the guy who brought Google events to Uzbekistan, he says. So let's talk about Google events. What kind of events did you bring in, and
Yeah.
how successful was it?
In 2015, our university was small. We didn't have the student union kind of things, and it was kind of relatively boring, let's
Mhm.
so to speak.
Mhm.
And we want to bring some kind of interesting stuff to Uzbekistan, or let's say to our university.
Yeah.
But so we want to make it global as well. And I was interested in those kind of Google events. I was watching this Google I/O events like for
Mhm.
some time at that time,
Yeah.
and that's why I want to have this small meetup conference at university for the first
Yeah.
time. So in 2015, um, me and my friends we organized the first Google I/O extended. It was just extended meetup with 100 people. We watched some videos from Google. So Google every year conducts a conference called Google I/O, and there are people like
Google I/O.
yes, Google Input Output or one
Mhm.
zero.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, and so this event you can do it like extended, so you can invite some people who
Right.
are interested in this technology and watch together. And we want to make it bigger, and we had this conference. We
Mhm.
printed some swags,
Right.
we invited some speakers, and that's why like it was kind of successful event, and we liked this. And so we did it next year, and we did another year, and then we found out about like um,
Mhm.
about the thing called GDG, which is Google Developer Groups. So that's a IT community
Mhm.
which brings or promotes or likes IT technologies, especially from Google, like Android or others, and they can exchange their knowledge together.
Mhm.
So we just started that in 2018.
Mhm.
We applied for GDG chapter,
Yeah.
and it was the first official GDG chapter after some years, because before some people started it, but they left it. So it was like inactive. And
Oh. Okay.
mhm. It was a bit small, but then since then it's still active. Every year we conduct a lot of meetups. So in 2019, our biggest event was GDG DevFest, so
Yeah.
Google Developers Group Developers Festival,
Yeah.
and it was like biggest developer festival in Central Asia for twice in a row. So in 2018 and 2019. It was the biggest developer festival in Central Asia, and we invited a lot of people. And actually, once it was started as a small
Mhm.
meetup, but after some years, some
Mhm.
people from Nigeria, Australia, from
Yeah.
United States, they were coming to Uzbekistan for our event, and I couldn't imagine when we just
Mhm.
started
Yeah.
it could grow so big.
Okay.
So I would say whoever whoever's thinking their idea is small right now, they should
Yeah.
just do it. Maybe at some point in life, you will have some invisible opportunities, and boom, it will
Mhm.
grow, like it will fly like a rocket. And
Yeah.
I believe in that. So if
Awesome.
we could build it without any kind of tanish belesh, but only with our like hard work, I think
Mhm.
anyone else can do it. So that would be my advice for any young people who are watching this behind the screens and thinking
Mhm.
about some ideas. The first secret would be just doing it. So
Okay.
yeah.
Restate it one more time. So, thinking about your projects in mind won't bring you success. So, acting on it is the first step,
Hmm.
right? So, okay,
Yes.
awesome. Uh, Great. And where do you stand in terms of your career today? Job place, years of
Hmm.
experience. Yeah. Where do you see yourself at the moment?
I cannot say I'm a senior at the currently, but I'm growing. Because like I mentioned that at Super Dispatch, I started as a software engineer.
Right.
I was a backend engineer. I was
Mhm.
doing some Python, and
Yes.
then after some months, I moved to JavaScript and I did front end development. And then after a year and a bit, I moved to product management. So I was trying to find myself after a bit time.
Mhm.
And so now I think it's a right thing, like product management, because I
Uh-huh.
can bring some impact. So that's the first thing I chose the IT. And
Mhm.
so I thought like software engineering is ideal, but now it looks like if we can manage people or like find the right thing to build,
Mhm.
we can outsource it to other people, or we can delegate to other people, and
Right.
we can have more impact
Yeah.
rather than just doing it ourselves. That's
Mhm.
the philosophy around like why I chose product management.
Mhm.
And so at this point, I'm growing as a product manager. I'm
Awesome.
trying to learn like best and
Mhm.
global product management patterns, like how to build right
Right.
thing, how to find the niche
Yeah.
audience, and other stuff. So that's where I am, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to grow as a product manager as well in this
Right.
sphere. And also, it's called like a best track to grow as a CEO. So
Mhm.
I hope I will have some CEO opportunities in the future as well, and
Mhm.
bring more impact to the world. That's the overall goal.
Right. A young, ambitious man. Great. I wish you good luck with
Thank you.
what you said. And let's talk about your transition from software engineer, being a software engineer, to becoming a product manager. What are the shifts in skills? Like I know there's soft skills, hard skills, technical skills that we can touch on. So if you could just talk about your challenges, or
Mhm.
rewards afterwards, like which position is better for what kind of people, that'd be
Mhm.
great.
Okay, let's start from the end. What position is good for different people?
Mm,
And software engineers, they tend to be more introverts because like
mhm.
they don't talk to people usually, and they
Right.
sit and do and they focus on some problem and solve it
Mm,
in a given time, and
yeah.
they ship some solutions, some great solutions.
Mm,
And so if you are introverted person, you don't really like you like talk to people, but
yeah.
not at a bigger scale, like not like 3 4 5 hours every day and
Yeah.
spend your days in meetings. And that's
Mhm.
software engineering is right for you. And at the same time, if you like to solve problems, if you have some building kind of mindset,
Yeah.
and then you should try IT because that's so fun. And but if you also want to solve problems and bring some solutions, and also if you want to talk to many people in many spheres,
Yeah.
like designers, for example,
Yeah.
or customer support, or
Yeah.
even your clients, and you are ready to handle a lot of communication every day at the
Right.
extended uh, time, so for a year or 5 years,
Mhm.
and
Mm,
then it should be product management should be good for you. And
right.
also you should be able to think at a big scale as well, but at the same time you should know how to go into details, because when you are talking to
Okay.
engineer, you should be an
Right.
IT guy. You should talk in their language. But when you are
Right.
talking to customer, for example, at the same time you should also talk in their language at their level. And
Yeah.
like they don't know IT, so you should understand and translate those issues into software
Mhm.
language. And so that's how product management works usually. And that's the great part as well. So sometimes you work in small problems, you should go into details.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's a big thing, you should be able to see from a bird's perspective.
Mhm.
And it's about like bigger perspective as well.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I think the
that's how I
name
see.
itself is kind of self-explanatory because it says for product manager. So you're managing the whole product. You should be able to
Hmm.
manage all the aspects of the product, right? To be
Exactly.
able to lead the whole team. So
Hmm.
I'm thinking maybe you need some leadership skills, like communication skills with other people, being able to build a report
Yeah.
that we call soft skills, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
you should
awesome.
you should be ambassador of your product. Like even not everyone believes in it, you should
Mhm.
believe in it, and every
Yeah.
time you should be advocating for those changes and promoting this vision through leadership. Like even though the name has the management in it,
Yeah.
it's not about people management, it's about product management. So you
Oh, right.
cannot so if a team lead or some manager,
Yeah.
they manage it from the top. Product
Yeah.
manager is a leader who pushes from the bottom, so
Mm.
who pushes the team, motivates them, and talks
Right.
about the product every day and believes in it. So that's how product management works. And so it's
Okay.
not about like managing people and being a
Mhm.
boss. So it's much kind of difficult than that.
Okay. Awesome. So we need to know the difference between like management of people and management of the product. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Awesome. Go with so many ways. Let's see if we have any questions from the audience. Abdullah Halimov. Every successful story is a story of great failures. How do you accept failures? Can you tell your
Mhm.
mistakes and which you consider that helped you learn and move forward with high energy? That's an interesting question, and a broad question, I guess.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question
Yeah.
because I don't usually have high. I mean, I have high energy, but there are sometimes I lose my energy as well.
Mm.
At that time, usually what it helps is to remember why we started.
Mhm.
What was the end goal, or what was the first like the
Yeah.
saying why are we even here at that place? Why are we doing that, right?
Mhm.
So sometimes scaling out, zooming out helps to
Mhm.
understand like, okay, it's okay to have some smaller um, losing motivation or kind of
Mhm.
things that you don't like.
Okay.
So we should get it done to get to the end goal. And
Right.
if our end goal is clear, then we are probably motivated again. That's how I try to do to gain back my energy. And
Uh,
also, how do I accept failures? And I don't
mhm.
know. I'm kind of cold-hearted person. I take it them as it is,
Mhm.
like just looking straight to their face and like okay, accepting them and trying to accept them and
Mhm.
moving on. So
Yeah.
like, what would be the best thing to do next? Like
Mhm.
okay, let's accept this failure. What we can do to fix it if it's not too late, or if it's too late, what else we can do so we can move on? Like, what would be the like? Should I go somewhere else, or should I do something else? Should I talk to some people?
Mhm.
So like searching for some alternative options.
Mhm.
That's how I probably accept my failures, and also communicating those, like accepting and telling people like okay, I failed, or maybe I was wrong.
Mhm.
So that also helps.
Yeah. Awesome. Uh, and Nuruddin, we know that you're in Tashkent now, but you
Mhm,
are a what we call a growth specialist at Pro Unlimited at Facebook. It sounds
mhm.
kind of interesting to many people. So how do you explain it? And if you could touch on your experience at Facebook or at Pro Unlimited,
Mhm.
that would be interesting.
Sure. Okay. So I uh, I got this job through LinkedIn. They were like they said
Mhm.
that they were looking for product growth specialist
Mhm.
who has some product management experience to
Right.
grow Facebook products in Central Asia. And I'm a part of the local insights team, and who's responsible to gain some local insights and adopting products based on those local insights. So maybe something is wrong in our language, or maybe some stuff on the product is
Yeah.
not suitable for our people. Maybe
Mhm.
like they do it in other way because we are so different,
Yeah.
and that's the main thing. So I should be researching about the people of Central Asia, like how
Mhm.
they live and what is not doing so well,
Yeah.
which should be doing so well,
Yeah.
and based on our culture. And then
Mhm.
I can address those issues
Yeah.
in multiple products,
Mhm.
and so we could build some solutions. So I could in one word, in one sentence, it would
Yeah.
be like the voice of Central Asian people,
Mhm.
and it goes a bit beyond than that.
Okay. And did this role exist before you joined the team, or is it a new role in the region or
Mhm.
in general at all?
It's not a new role in general. There are
Yeah,
many product growth specialists, product
yeah,
growth managers in all parts of the world. But
right.
for Central Asia, it was the first time they were hiring this for
Mhm.
this role, and I
Yeah,
was lucky to get this position. And yeah, so they experiment through contractor roles, and that's why so that like Pro Unlimited at Facebook, the name comes, and
yeah.
so that's kind of experimental to some places.
Experimental. Oh, nice. That's good. And how do you define the company culture of Facebook in a nutshell? Like, if you could describe it, like what's different at Facebook than any other companies that you know?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Uh huh.
Even though I cannot comment based on the company's behalf,
Yeah.
what I personally think is being bold and moving fast is a great mindset that exists there.
Wow.
And so, like, it teaches people, it motivates people to
Mhm.
be bold and learn fast.
Mhm. So they learn their mistakes really fast and they fix it,
Hmm.
and that's it, how
Hmm.
they grow, right? Uh,
Yes, yes, exactly. And
plus, it's
being
like,
bold is great.
yeah. Plus, it's like a platform that exists in the clouds. It doesn't exist in the. I mean, the company exists, of course, physically, but I mean, it's not a product, right? It's like a software,
Yes.
and they.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it requires probably a lot of work.
Yeah. And if you think about like a billion people using something that you built, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
And that's why many people believe in this vision, and they
Hmm.
want to change lives and have an impact of a lot of people. That's why it's okay to be kind of being bold, like without being afraid.
Hmm.
So.
Being a risk taker, right?
Mhm. Yeah, we can say so.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And I'm not sure if you. I mean, you were in Korea for 6 months. How familiar are you with the scholarship? If you could just give some advice for the people who are watching us, who are trying to, apply for universities, who are in the
Yeah.
transition from, life stream college to a university. We know that
Yeah.
in Uzbekistan, a lot of people want to go abroad. I was in
Yeah.
Tashkent myself. You remember we met,
Hmm.
right? And I talked to a lot of people, and many people want to go abroad and study and stuff like that. Uh, yeah, if you have something
Sure.
in mind, you could share.
Um, there are a lot of opportunities right now as well. To study abroad in different parts of the world.
Hmm.
That's great that many people are studying and taking great exam results like TOEFL, IELTS, or other exams, and they are getting
Yeah.
good scores and applying for international universities. And so one is the Flex program for high school students, as
Hmm.
we mentioned,
Yes.
and they can study for free for 1 year at high schools in the United States.
Right.
And after, or if you are a university student and if you have a semester left when you come back from US, then you can also apply for a global UGRAD program.
Hmm.
But also, if you want to study master's degree, then there's a, oh, I forgot the name, but there's a master's degree program as well.
Hmm.
And you can study 2 years, like everything is financed, and you can
Hmm.
study at US for US institutions with the same, so with this program as well.
Hmm.
And that's for US. And for Korea, there's a scholarship called Korean Government Scholarships.
Yeah.
So in short, it's a KGSP.
Yeah.
And you should take some level of the Korean language. And
Yeah.
I think you can study bachelor's as well. But
Hmm.
you can apply for a master's and even PhD with this program. And so 1 year you learn Korean language, and then you
Uh-huh.
study master's, for example. So
Yeah.
it's like 1 year extra. And so it's also everything is paid, and but it's also hard to get. But
Hmm.
if you are not able to join this program, then you
Yeah.
can search for programs within the universities. For example, in high university they have their scholarships. For example, it's called Global Studies Program,
Yeah.
and as a specific computer science, for example, students they can also get scholarships. So all universities mostly they have they have scholarships and even
Yeah.
at some portion. So this can be a great initial point. Like maybe you have some money, but like you cannot pay the whole tuition, or
Mhm.
it would be good like if you can pay your tuition by university, and then you should pay it just for your living.
Yeah.
That's a good thing as well. And
Yeah.
so please just follow some universities that you like, and probably they will announce their scholarship programs on their website. And you should just be proactive and constantly check for other programs as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so these are the scholarships.
Okay. Awesome. So, as I said, a lot of people in Uzbekistan want to go abroad. Young people, right, want to study, want to grow. They know that there's more opportunities out there in the world, especially in the States and Korea. We know a lot of young Uzbek diasporas, like growing. Uh, we know that many people in Uzbekistan who are trying to go abroad are limited with their financial resources. They complain about it,
Mhm.
and they think that you need to have a big financial support from someone else
Yeah.
in order for you to go abroad and succeed. So,
Mhm.
what would you say? What is your response to that kind of to those people?
Yeah.
Is there still hope? Is there still opportunities
Yeah,
for people?
there's a great opportunities
Yeah,
right now, and like world is recovering from the post-COVID situation, let's say,
yeah,
and there are many new opportunities coming in the world. And as I mentioned, the first programs about like studying at US is a great example.
yeah,
And if I were in the United States or even like globally, I traveled like 5 or 6 times. I
yeah.
never bought a single ticket for international travel like fully that I paid.
Wow.
So they were, or they were like fully supported, or I paid only some part. So I
So,
never traveled for my money. Especially I never bought my own tickets. It was all
mhm,
supported by some program or someone else. So
yeah,
that's a great part. So if I could do it,
mhm,
probably you can also do it. And so there are many programs, and also like maybe
mhm,
you don't want to spend your whole semester or like a year at some
yeah,
place. There are some conferences and other um, things, for example, like Harvard Moon conferences or other like HPA conferences.
yeah,
You can get some scholarships.
yeah,
So this is also great place to meet people from all parts of the world, talk to some leaders of the world,
mhm,
and you can also get some support from them. So and also there are other programs locally like El Yurtumide or Islam Kanim Fund, for
mhm,
example, though they also support studies at other countries, but you
mhm,
should all come back and work for government for some years. But
yeah,
that's a great opportunity because like studying abroad and having some international mindset and
yeah,
experience is a life changing for many people.
right,
So if you are limited in resources, I
mhm,
would I would recommend just being proactive and finding for those programs because I believe there are hundreds of programs available
uh-huh,
globally for people from United Uzbekistan to
mhm,
study any part of the world, and
yeah,
they can like pay your tuition in
mhm,
some portion, or they can fully support. So that we should, I think, if one wants to study it somewhere else internationally, they
yeah,
should be more proactive, and there are
right. Okay,
programs.
got it. And I know we don't want to touch on each single program that you mentioned, but uh, to the audience, I just want to refer to we want to leave some comments down below after the interview. It's going to be
Mhm.
released. You can watch it, the recorded version of it. So don't worry about it. So we'll share the names of those programs for you.
Sure.
And I just also want at the same time want to encourage everyone else to ask away their questions because our time is limited. Maybe we'll have another 15 minutes of conversation if
Hmm.
Nuriddin's okay with that.
Sure. Yeah. Let's
And
accept some
please,
questions.
yeah, don't hesitate. Like any questions about innovation, technology, growth, career journey, working abroad, and about Facebook, maybe that might
Hmm.
be interesting questions. So feel free. And
Yeah.
Nurdin, especially for the younger generation, defining certain things when they're young is very important, right? Because that's how they determine their direction in life. I'd love you to answer some of the important questions to help young compatriots out there figure out certain things. How do you define success? What is success, and how do you measure it? Is it
Hmm.
money, or number of achievements, or level of satisfaction, or your position? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And success overall is, I think, I helping people and making some
Mm,
impact in their lives,
mm,
especially to the to the lives of my closer ones, like
mm.
my friends, my family. Starting from that, and
Yeah.
then going to a bigger scale of my people around me or people from Uzbekistan or globally. Like currently, I'm trying to solve problems of
Mm.
people of Central Asia in certain programs like
Right.
applications, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a success for me. If I could change even a small thing in their lives,
Yeah.
I feel happy. I like to help people in a
Okay.
longer term as well. So if I can measure success, or even though I cannot measure it, just like if today, for example, if some people learn about UGRAD or other program, and then after some years they apply for it and
Mm.
they study there, that's a success for me as well. Like even though it looks like passive,
Yeah.
maybe I was like a reason they learn about this program. So that's how I see success for me.
Hmm. Awesome. Wow. That's a great definition. So we are a human society. So humans are, social beings. So we need to,
Yeah.
when we say social beings, that means we're all interrelated. So we grow
Hmm.
only when we help others. So other people's
Exactly.
well-being is your well-being. And that's how you feel good, right? Awesome.
Yeah. That.
Solving other
Yeah.
people's problems will help you grow.
Hmm. I believe
Okay.
so.
Awesome. And the next question is, I'll be holding on to some of the questions. You guys can please throw the questions in the comments. I'll be reading it a bit later. Let me proceed with these questions that are interesting. What do you think are some of the attribute skills that are must have in order to become successful? So, what are some of the common skills that applies for everyone? That doesn't matter. Like if
Mhm.
someone is like a doctor or an engineer or IT professional, what are some
Hmm.
of the common attributes?
I'm thinking about like three C's right now. One is communication,
Yeah,
because I when I see young professionals when they're growing,
yeah,
they tend to hide or be shy about their problems, or they're afraid of their mistakes. But if you are really good at communication, if you pass your problems to other people, or
yeah,
if you communicate well about your challenges, I think
mm,
the world helps. And like even sometimes like help comes from some unplanned places as well.
yeah,
So as you mentioned, we are social beings that,
mm,
and I think we should like
yeah,
core part of being a social being is communication. So when we talk, we are
mm,
actively involved in it,
mm,
and then that's how other people can help
mm,
you. And
right,
instead of like keeping it in yourself, you can
yeah,
just openly
yeah,
talk about it and ask for help. That's the first like C, and like communication. And the
awesome,
next C would be creativity.
great,
And we see a lot of people, they don't want to think, and they just want to follow the rules, like
yeah,
they just blindly follow some things.
yeah,
And I think that's not right. We
mm,
in Uzbekistan, we are trying to open up, and we're trying to change the country overall lives of people, right? And I think everyone can join this, and we can be creative and think
mm,
outside of the box, even
mm,
in some daily problems. Like you don't have to just blindly follow every rule or
right,
tradition or anything. You
yeah,
can just be thinking like, what else I can do, and how else we can solve this problem, instead of
mm,
waiting for some solutions from other people. So creativity should be great, and
mm,
also critical thinking. And
right,
sometimes when we do things, we oftentimes we forgot to ask why,
yeah,
and we can blindly do a lot of stuff and we don't ask this question. So
mm,
I think critical thinking is also very crucial in a professional world, in
yeah,
any sphere.
yeah,
So we should be able to tell like why something is happening, and what we can do, and like being like challenging this problem, like
Hmm.
seeing this from other side. So critical thinking is also important. So these are the probably three C's that are important in the professional life.
Awesome. So Natala says, guys, we are future of Uzbekistan. Keep growing.
Yay.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And yeah, just to count the important things that you mentioned, communication. Uh, I don't remember who said it, but it's a popular saying that says, uh, network is your network. So in order for you to effectively network, you need to have a good communication skills. You need to know
Mhm.
how to, communicate your message to your partners, to your colleagues, and also creativity that you mentioned. I totally agree. A lot of people simply have the mentality of compliance. They comply with the crowd. They just go with the flow. But sometimes you need to make a shift, in the way you think.
Yeah,
Most importantly, mindset it determines where you go, right? I totally agree
sure.
with that as well. And critical thinking, absolutely. Ask why. That was a crucial moment. Like we have to ask why, not not. We should ask why to our own decisions, not to the people decisions of other people, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how we define our direction in life. Totally. And is there a distinct trait, feature, or nature which is exclusive for Uzbek people that could help to be successful abroad? If yes, which are they?
I think diaspora and overall network is great in
Hmm.
Uzbekistan. We
Yeah,
all call it Anish Bilish. The world is accepting is through this term called networking.
yeah,
And when Uzbek person moves abroad, they oftentimes they want to join the Uzbek diaspora, existing Uzbek diaspora, and
yeah,
other people who are already there, they
yeah,
want to help those people as well. Maybe
yeah,
that's kind of part of some Asian shared Asian culture,
yeah.
but I really appreciate this, and
Mhm.
it's always easier when you going in one direction and you have
Yeah,
some teammates going with you.
yeah,
So I believe this kind of things like Uzbek diaspora and overall like networking of Uzbek people in
right.
countries abroad
Yeah,
helps each other to solve some common problems and saves a lot of time and effort from other people who are new in some places. And
hmm,
also we tend to join in some forces and solve problems in a groups rather than just ourselves. We ask for recommendations,
hmm,
or we bring people to some place and talk about this problem, and people give random ideas. And I think that's a great thing, and
hmm.
we should embrace it, and probably we can take goods from this aspect, I think.
Right. Yeah, got it. And let's switch to general questions that require
Hmm.
short answers. If you could just answer short, we could just answer too many questions. You know. Um,
Okay.
okay, let's go. What is your favorite part of your job at the current job?
Hmm. Uh, Probably working on being independent and working on the problems or challenges that
Yeah.
I love the most.
Yeah. Got
So
it.
that's
Awesome. Uh, overcoming challenges and solving
mhm.
problems. Awesome. How do you manage your time?
That's my weakness. I don't usually like I don't follow strict kind of schedule,
Right.
but I try to work in a smaller time periods,
Oh,
like
okay.
Pomodoro techniques or other techniques that keep track of my time. But most of my time, I'm flexible.
Okay. This question is coming from me. Like, how about what do you think about journaling? Do you journal at all?
Oh, that's a great thing I would like to try, but I'm not doing it. I
Okay.
share some useful things on my channel on Telegram,
Yeah.
but overall, like personal journaling, I don't do that right now.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. What books should I be reading? If you could mention three very, good books that you have read in the past, that'd be
Hmm.
great. Uh,
Okay, I would say Atomic Habits is going
Oh,
great.
my favorite.
It's yeah, it's many people read it, and I still recommend it to other people
Mm,
to how to form habits in the
mm,
right way and how to not abandon new habits. That's a great thing, and it can be life changing if you are in a right direction.
mm,
And another thing is essentialism. Essentialism is also a great book that I read at Inha University, and that teaches to eliminate a lot of options and try to focusing on some only important things.
mm.
And
Okay.
so being a so being essentialist, and that also helps to ask this why questions, like should I do this, or like
Mhm.
why ever I do this.
Yeah,
So it helps to eliminate some other small stuff that you might not like, and being spending your focus on only on important things.
priorities. Okay, so
Hmm.
you counted Atomic Habits, Essentialism.
Yeah, and start with why is also a great
Oh,
question
you said
from Simon
start with
Sinek.
why. Okay, start with why. And the author
And
is Simon Sinek. Is that him?
yes,
Okay,
that's the right book.
got it.
And as I talked a lot about this why questions, mostly they're coming from this book, or overall from the philosophy of the Simon Sinek.
Oh wow, awesome! I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek as well.
Me too.
Um, awesome. And let's see. What advice do you have for someone new to your industry, product management or software engineer? Um,
Sorry,
like,
could you repeat again?
yeah, you want me to repeat the question? So,
Hmm.
what advice do you have for someone new to your industry, to the world of
Uh,
IT in general? Let's say.
World of IT is so big, and it requires really kind of intensive reading and every day. So I
Yeah.
think we should be kind of open to read a lot. I
Mm,
think it's crucial for every industry, but in IT, the things they come every day. So
mhm.
at least you should know. At least you should be hearing about some good stuff in your area, because like it's changing literally every day.
Yeah.
So at least you should be able to find when you want to search for anything.
Okay.
So yeah, I cannot generalize in one word, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
overall,
I
reading a
think
lot
being
and keeping
resourceful is
up
a
to
good
date.
word, right?
Yeah, we can say so. Yes.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And what hard skills should someone in your field have know? Yeah, should know.
I think basic coding is a great thing for even like a designer or even like a product manager like me.
Mm, mm,
Basic coding skills. So
yeah.
for every IT specialist, like even product manager, project managers, everyone in the IT sphere, they should be trying some basic coding, and also some global standards in design,
Yeah.
in products, in so some basics would be good.
Right. Yeah. And what are some of the things that you want to do for the prosperity of Uzbek diaspora communities or Uzbek communities in general? Uh,
Yeah, that's a great question. As I mentioned, I like to help people, and the first thing, I'm open for communication and questions. So
yeah.
if you think you can ask some right questions, please contact me. I think we can link them in the video description below after the video. So
Mm,
please contact me anytime. I'm happy to take your questions and help with them.
mm,
And also, I'm currently in Uzbekistan. I'm more like a bridge to people who are abroad
right.
and people who are in here. So if anyone needs something, some connections in Uzbekistan in
Hmm.
IT, for example, or you are looking for something, I think we can help each
Hmm.
other. And
Yeah.
so I think I might be suitable and in this role. So I
Hmm.
can connect you with some people that I know here. Um,
Yeah.
that's one thing that I can help.
Awesome. And the next question is there a quote that motivates you? Uh,
Quote.
quote, yeah. One or two,
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
not really. I think I'm more like I watch videos overall, but like books, for example, but not
Yeah.
not a single quote I can remember right now.
Right. Got it. Got it. Uh, okay, who inspires you?
Hmm. Yeah, I follow Simon Sinek. Like I like the philosophy, and I also lately I've been listening to Naval
Mhm.
Ravikant.
Yeah.
He's a co-founder of AngelList. He's also an IT guy, but he's also a great philosopher. So
Mhm.
these are the global people who are kind of inspire me in
Mhm.
with their thinking. But as an IT people, for example,
Mhm.
I really admire Bill Gates and like Standard, Elon Musk, and
Mhm.
also Mark Zuckerberg for what they do and like how
Right.
they lead in this tech world.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the people.
Okay. What are some of the positive changes that are happening in Tashkent since you're in Tashkent? Uh,
Yeah, it's growing a lot, and so a lot of things have changed since like 5 years, for example,
mhm.
and people are becoming more. They are joining bigger companies and other companies internationally,
Mhm.
so they are becoming kind of freelancers, outsourcers more and more because like COVID situation
Yeah.
now. Other companies from abroad they agree for remote workers. So
Yeah.
people are taking a lot of remote works and earning some good amount of money, which is good for Uzbekistan, even globally.
Mhm.
So at the same time, they are living in eating plow, for example, living
Yeah.
enjoying like Uzbek weather and
Right.
others. So and overall, like companies are growing. Big companies are
Yes.
coming to Uzbekistan, like
Yeah.
EPAM or others,
Yeah.
and they're growing the standard of IT specialists and other specialists in the market.
Mhm.
So by teaching like global industry knowledge,
Yeah.
that's a great thing as well.
Okay.
And so yeah, overall it's changing a lot and it's growing too fast. I really love it, and I hope in next 5-10 years it will become even more kind of natural, and we'll see
Yeah.
Uzbek people in Uzbekistan itself will grow in a global arena in a to a wider kind of audience.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know that in Uzbek mentality, the sense of patriotism is very strong. And even though a
Yes.
lot of people leave the country for school or for work, after a while, for so many years, they want to come back. They want to
Hmm.
work there. They want to, grow their children if they have children or if they have family. So I was asked the same question when I was in Tashkent from a lot of people, like, what can students or workers who are abroad can do if they move to Tashkent, and what are some of the good industries they can get into?
Hmm.
If you could
Uh,
anything in mind?
Yeah, as I mentioned, a lot of international companies are opening their offices in Tashkent. That's a
Yeah,
great thing that they can do whatever they were doing in Tashkent, in probably like not the same company but similar companies, and
yeah,
their pay scales will be also similar. But
hmm
also at the same time, we can work remote right now. So if
yeah,
your work allows,
yeah,
it's another thing. And overall, global kind of local markets are also growing a lot. For
yeah.
example, Express or other startups. Some startups from Uzbekistan they are scaling to UAE, for example, United Arab
Yeah,
Emirates.
I noticed that.
So yeah, that's a great thing. So Uzbek startups, like local startups with local founders, they're also growing a lot. So they can do some impact there as well, and
Yeah,
uh, and make it global. Or also starting their own companies will be also great help because like they know how the world works and they know some global
yeah,
standards, so they can bring that high standards to Uzbekistan and train people
right.
to work at the same environment. And I would also ask people who are watching us if they're professionals to share more about their um, like what they learn abroad, and
Experience.
because like people in Uzbekistan right now they're learning more English and
Yeah,
also they're open to learn a lot. So please share your experience. International experience is always good, and I believe it will make an impact of many lives by just like one post every day or a week also should
yeah.
do well.
Awesome. And in addition to what you said, I just wanted to also make say something. I think since they're abroad, they have good skills, they have good knowledge, and they want to move back. What I would suggest is aim at companies like BPOs, business processing outsourcing, right? That's what you're doing basically, right? Because they can take advantage of the affordable labor cost, and they can work for their benefit. And taking advantage of those certain things will definitely help for students who are studying abroad or workers who are working abroad. Yeah, awesome.
Sure.
That's been a great conversation, and let's not miss out on certain questions that were asked. Okay. Let's see. I saw a good question here. I'm not sure if you addressed this question, project window without.
Yeah, I think we missed this question.
Is it possible to become a successful product manager without engineering background?
Yeah, totally possible. People are coming to these roles from QA or like design or even customer support. So they never studied tech. They just worked there. They learned some IT stuff, and then they loved it. That's why they become product and project managers. So yes, it's really possible. A lot of people do that, but it's vital to know some basic standards of product or project management, and learning some books should do well. I think it's possible. Many people do that, but we should train more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're building something that you don't understand in detail, you may have many problems.
Yes.
That's good advice, I guess. And let's see. Someone also asked earlier, Malika, do you have your own channel where you recommend the universities which provide scholarships, conferences, and that kind of stuff?
I don't have I don't usually share this kind of sorry. Yeah, I don't really share this kind of information on my channel, but I do have a channel. You can find it on Nuruddin Vlogs on Telegram, on Instagram as well, and Facebook too. I usually share what I like in tech or other some thoughts and other things in mind, but sometimes I also share some scholarship opportunities for other oral opportunities, but it's not solely on these topics.
Okay, awesome. I know, like, I have so many, thoughts and questions that I have in mind I want to ask you, but as the time is passing, we got to wrap it up, and want to be respectful with your time and with the time of audience. If you have any final thoughts you could share.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for inviting. I'm very glad to speak here, and thank you everyone who are watching us from all parts of the world. And so yes, it's a growing place now, right now, like overall Tashkent, Uzbekistan, and the people. We are trying to learn a lot, and please share your opportunities and some stuff that you find interesting with others, because opportunities are the best when it's shared, and do not see them as competitors. And so it's the first thing that please share a lot, because like right now we are hungry for information and data, and if good channels rises and from our people around the world, it will be very valuable. And also, please do not stop and believe in yourself. Like I was a simple guy, like with regular kind of family, from the regular family, from even from not even from Tashkent, right? And at that time, if I think, for example, when I was a student at like high school or school, I could never imagine that one day I would travel with the thanks of some programs. Like I couldn't imagine even that, and like because like our financial status at the time didn't allow me to do so. We were also limited in resources. So please just aim high, and believe in yourself. Do not limit at least your imagination. Please have some big thoughts in your mind. Someday, I believe they will come to reality. So if you're having some hardships today, it's not forever. It's temporary, and please keep in mind your bigger goal and why you are doing some stuff. And many people and many other opportunities will join you during this time, and you will having a lot of fun, and you will have some kind of joy in your life when you do some things that you love. So that will be my final notes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing them. So don't be selfish, guys. Share if you have any knowledge and skills. Try to work together with other people, and also believing in yourself, especially when you're young. It's very important. When you're until you're 25, you build this foundation of confidence. Your personality will grow. So you need to be confident and take big steps in life, and don't be afraid of risks. Risks will come with rewards. The more risk we take, the more reward we get, right? And also have an imagination. I like that. Most of us live our lives randomly. Whatever comes will come, and I'll just adjust. But having imagination is the gift that's given to human beings only. No other animals, even apes, don't have it. So imagine your future. Imagine your future life and your growth, and the success will follow. Thank you very much, Nuruddin. I appreciate your time, and I hope this network and communication will be ongoing, and we'll definitely be meeting in the near future. And I hope for the best in your future endeavors and any project that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.